Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, one company that I did bring to the channel not too long ago, honestly just about 2 days ago now, was OCGN. Now, this is a company that I said had loads of potential. We did know that they were working on a vaccine, and that's what we'll go over that in a second here. But I was basically just going on and on about I thought this company had loads of potential, and then I really thought that their stock price might see some substantial growth. Well, at the time that I did make that video, the stock price was sitting at about $5.25. Now, I had made this after market hours, and after market hours the stock price was sitting at around $7.50 still. But if we do go over to their stock price right now, it is currently at $12.61, and that's after losing about 20% in that day. So it had nearly doubled from the $7 that it was at whenever I made that video. So if any of you did get in on this one after the video was made, I bet you did probably see some nice gains. You could definitely let me know in the comment section below. Again, whenever I do make these videos though, I do want to clarify that I am not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice whatsoever. So make sure you do your research and make sure you do your due diligence before you make purchases. Now, if you do want to stay as up to date as possible, if you want to get in on these trades when I make them, if you want to stay as up to date, about the trades that I'm going to be making, my trade portfolio, if you want access to all of the subjects and the content in which I'm going to be posting on this channel before I even post about them, you can always head over to my Patreon. It is going to be the link in the description. If you do go over ahead and you sign up, you can get access to all of that information. I'm fully transparent. I put pretty much everything that I know in my Discord, and we have a fantastic community. It's over 170 people now, and it is growing at amazing rates. Now, of course, we did finish out on this first tier right here, and we do have two more left right here that are slowly working their way down. So if you do want to get in on that, I do believe that it would be a fantastic opportunity for everyone involved. Lastly, if you do want to start your own investment journey, if you want to expand out into a new brokerage, this is an absolutely amazing offer. Webull is offering you 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850 whenever you deposit only $100. Who doesn't like some free stocks? Who doesn't like some free money? This is a fantastic brokerage. They just added crypto and they're making adjustments every single day, and I really do recommend the use of Webull because they are absolutely phenomenal. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what all has been going on real quick before we get into the news. So whenever we do take a look at Ocugen, of course, we do know that a lot of their overall hype has been coming from the fact that they are working to get a vaccine out. Right. We all saw that Bharat Biotech, an Indian-based company, they actually had emergency use authorization out in India, and they want to bring that over to the US, and Ocugen is actually going to be the ones that are going to be bringing it here, as they will also be collecting 45% of the revenue profits whenever it does get here, once they get it through their clinicals and everything like that. Now, we also did see that they had a $23 million offering that we can clearly tell is going to be used to fund this whole operation, and so a lot of hype has been going on, and that is really why we have seen this massive spike over the last couple of days. I mean, this is growth of nearly 290%, like absolutely phenomenal. But there's something that you have to consider whenever thinking about it, whether you're going to invest in this company, and that's, can this company compete with the other vaccines that we are seeing? Right? Because Bharat Biotech is doing phenomenal in India, but in the US, we do have a whole bunch of other vaccines that are operating really high right now. I mean, of course, we have Moderna and we have all of those. So it is worth considering, okay, well, can this vaccine even compete with the ones that are out in the US now? Well, that was one thing that I was actually a little bit worried about whenever I did first start talking about Ocugen, was because I was like, we have so many and there's so many in the race that what is the science like and how is it going to make them any different? Like what's going to separate them from the pack to actually be able to make them flourish? Well, we did get an article here from the Motley that really thoroughly breaks this down, and I'm so excited that they did this because I think if you're going to invest in Ocugen, you really need to consider all of this information. So as it does say in the beginning, it says that Ocugen was an early stage biotech company focusing on gene therapy to cure eye diseases, and then everything changed. All of a sudden, investors began piling into the shares, and the company joined the center stage of the stock market with the likes of Pfizer and Moderna. Now, that's because Ocugen finalized a deal to co-develop and commercialize Indian company Bharat Biotech's late-stage investigational virus vaccine in the US. The biggest gain didn't follow the announcement, though. It came after Ocugen raised $23 million at a considerable premium to fund the project. As a result, the stock soared more than 200% in one trading session. Now, the question is whether Ocugen and Bharat Biotech's vaccine candidates' efficacy can beat that of today's vaccines, those of Pfizer and Moderna. So let's take a closer look. Now, in this very first paragraph, they do make a fantastic point, and that point is basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the point is basically that at the end of the day, this is a smart financial move for them in the near term and the midterm, because a lot of, not even a lot, all of their products right now are going through clinical trials or their phases. They don't actually have any products that are, being commercialized. They're not actually making revenue from any of the products that they currently have right now in their pipeline. And whereas if they are able to get this vaccine out, then that does bring them some product revenue, which is something that they haven't seen, and that would allow them to grow their company even faster, because if they wouldn't have done this vaccine, they wouldn't be seeing product revenue for at least another year or two as they get their products through the pipeline and get it out to commercialization. So as a financial move, in a sense, this is a fantastic thing, because one, a vaccine is in need, especially as new strains come out, but secondly, they're going to be focusing on bringing in some product revenue so they don't have to solely rely on things like offerings and everything like that. Now, we usually don't like when companies do rely on offerings, as that's not necessarily always a good sign, but at the end of the day, the fact that the offering was done at a premium does also show that a lot of institutional investors have a lot of faith in this company, and I mean, it's warranted whenever you see all of the growth that we have seen over the last few days. So now let's focus on the more important point of all, and that's Covaxin. So this is going to be the vaccine. So we're talking about them versus the other vaccines of Pfizer and Moderna. While the Indian government has granted Covaxin emergency authorization, Bharat hasn't yet completed phase 3 trials or generated interim data. Bharat's chairman expects to release data by March. So we are in February, so it's going to be hopefully maybe another 4 or 5 weeks here. It says here that Pfizer's and Moderna's vaccines focus on the blank spike protein. The problem there is that if spike protein mutations multiply, these vaccines may not offer protection. So far, both companies say their vaccines can handle the emerging UK and South African strains, but White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci has said these vaccines are likely less effective against the mutated strains than they are against the original virus, and potential new strains in the future represent a threat. Now, Covaxin induces immune responses to several blank proteins, not just the spike protein, so it may be more effective than more advanced rivals in protecting against today's strains and future variants, because we have to consider that this is not just going to be a one-stop shop. No, there's going to be multiple variants and multiple strains that are going to just continue to happen and mutate over the years, and we are going to need some type of, vaccine that can mutate and adjust and adapt with that. Now, it says here that that is a big plus. Another advantage is that it can be stored at refrigerator temperatures. So can Moderna's, but Pfizer's vaccine requires ultra low temperatures that make it a challenge to transport and store. Considering these two elements, Covaxin may be a stronger vaccine than those of Pfizer and Moderna, but only phase 3 data can confirm it. If efficacy is low or adverse events are high, the whole picture may change. So right now, it's best to cautiously be optimistic about Covaxin. And I totally agree, because we aren't going to find out just exactly how effective this is, and we won't know for sure if this is going to work like substantially until they do finish the phase 3 trials. And so I think at the moment, yes, we are seeing loads of stock growth, and I even have a position into this company, but we have to be very cautious. We have to set our tight stop losses, and we have to be very, very wary. Okay, is this company's progressing through phase 3? Hopefully we are going to know more information within a month or two, so that'll allow us to really get an idea of where this is going to be going, because if this does go through phase 3 and it really does show that all of these things that they're saying it could do, that it can do them, that would be huge for this company. And I wouldn't expect to see, I wouldn't be surprised honestly to see this thing maybe double or triple again from where it is, but that is all contingent on if they can actually live up to the hype, because if it cannot, then I think the adverse effect would happen and we could really see the stock price be in trouble. So again, this is some advice that I would just give, again, not a financial advisor, but some advice I would give is that this news can come out any day. Especially if you're up big right now, what I am doing personally is setting tight trailing stop losses, because if this thing tanks at any given point due to the news release that it didn't go through phase 3 as well, it's not going to recover, in my opinion. I really don't imagine within the short term that if they announce that, yeah, the vaccine's not really going to be working as well as we thought it would, I can't imagine that the stock price is going to recover, and I don't want to see too many people not being able to lock in profits. That's just some advice that I did give over to my Discord. So again, if you are interested in checking out some of these different messages, some of this other education that we do, any news, trades, updates, anything like that, again, head down to the link in the description and that will bring you over to the Patreon. With that being said, that is all for today's video when it comes to Ocugen. I did just want to keep you all up to date. I know this isn't the most positive video, and I think it's important to really focus on the positives and the negatives of company. That's good to look at the catalysts and the risks, because you don't want to go into an investment blind, because if something starts to go wrong, you're going to be in some deep trouble. With that being said, I hope you guys did did enjoy today's video. I do post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day. So if you do enjoy the content, if you enjoy being, able to stay up to date as possible with all of your favorite stocks, you can definitely let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. With that being said, I will see you all very, very soon, and I can't wait to do it again. Peace.